Hello there, Star Wars fans, and welcome back to another episode of Astromech Productions, where today I'm talking about LEGO Star Wars sets that don't actually appear in the movies. LEGO Star Wars has made hundreds of sets over its 21-year history, and naturally, not all of them have appeared in the movies, TV shows, or video games at some point. So today, I'll be running over all of the sets I found that fit this description. Some of these sets may have been in some form of visual media at some point, but only for a second, so I decided to include them anyway. Let's get straight into it. The first set that I found that fits this description is the LEGO Star Wars 75086 Battle Droid Troop Carrier, which came out back in 2015. It's supposed to be from Star Wars 1 The Phantom Menace, but obviously it wasn't in there. This is a set that I actually think, they were perfectly valid in making. Personally, I really like this set. I have it, and I think it's a good kind of downgrade from the MTT. It's not like it's worse than the MTT. It's just smaller, but you still get a lot of battle droids, which I really like. And it's a lot cheaper than kind of a big sized MTT would be. It's actually you get more battle droids in this than you got in the last MTT, which is actually quite funny. Now, we do see the set for about half a second in Revenge of the Sith. It's in the Battle of Kashyyyk, where it's just coming over the water. It's called like a pontoon troop carrier in there. It's got a slightly different name, but we do see this for a fraction of a second. But I don't think it was big enough to not include this. And yes, so this is a set that I really like. I'm actually glad LEGO made, and I don't particularly care that it's not in the movies. The second set that I found is the LEGO Star Wars First Order Heavy Scout Walker set 75177, came out back in 2017. And again, this is a set that I am very, very grateful LEGO made. I love this set. I think it's so cool. I really like the way the legs come like insects, almost like a spider. I think it's so sick. And I'm actually really annoyed we didn't get to see this in The Last Jedi, because we saw it in the concept art. We've got a few inches of that, but we never actually got it in the movies, and I think it would look so cool just there in the Battle of Crate, just kind of scuttling across the ground. I would have loved that. So, as I said, it's almost like a downsized ATST, which I think is really cool. It's like almost a First Order version, and I love that. I think this is a great set, and I'm really happy LEGO made it. I haven't got one, but I plan to get one as soon as possible, because I think this is such a cool set. I think it looks so sick. I think a lot of people don't quite like it because of the leg pattern, but I still think it's really cool. I'm so grateful LEGO made this, even though it wasn't in the movies. Another set that I found was the LEGO Star Wars 75100 First Order Snowtrooper. I know, another First Order one, because I'm convenient like that. And this came from, or was supposed to come from, The Force Awakens. Again, this is another one we did see in the movie, but it was literally just even less of a second than the Battle Droid Troop Carrier. You kind of saw it as they opened a door, and it was just behind them when they were going into the kind of reactor core on Starkiller Base. This is an alright set. I could live without it. I haven't got it. I'm not sort of into these kind of snow trooper stuff. I don't like all the snow rays. That's just not kind of my style. But I still like this set. I think it's a cool set. I think it's maybe a little big. They went out of proportion a bit. So, as I said, I could live without it. But still, I think it's quite a nice set, and it's worth a pick up if you can. The fourth set that I managed to find is the Kashyyyk Swamp Speeder. This came in the 75035 Kashyyyk Troopers Battle Pack from back in 2014. I have this. I love it so much. It's such a good set. This is one of those battle packs that's just timeless. You look on eBay now, it's worth kind of 30-40 quid sealed in the box. It's, because people really like those battle packs, the clone battle packs that have troopers from certain corps. This one's obviously the 41st Elite Corps. We had the 501st battle pack earlier this year. We've had the 212th Utapau Troopers battle pack. So people really like that. And then on top of that, you have this really nice little Swamp Speeder build. Again, this is one we see for a fraction of a second in Revenge of the Sith. I think we see it twice actually. Once on Felucia, just in front of the AT-OT, and then again on Kashyyyk in the Battle of Kashyyyk. But it's such a small amount of time, I didn't think it wasn't even worth not including it. It doesn't really count as being in the movie. But it's a nice little build. I really like it. Obviously it's expensive now, but if you can pick it up, I think it's well worth your time and money, because it's a really, really nice little set. And I think it's a really cool thing that LEGO made. Another set that I managed to find is the LEGO Star Wars 7668 Rebel Scout Speeder. This came back all the way back in 2008. It's our oldest set so far, and this is one that we completely do not see in any point in the movies. I have mixed feelings about the set. I like it. I think it's cool. You know, it's not one that I would necessarily choose to pick up if I had to spend a lot of money on it, because, you know, it's quite old, so it's quite bookish and stuff. But I still think it's cool. I think it's a nice set. The advantage of it is you do get a lot of Rebel Troopers, and we've never seen that many Rebel Troopers packed into a set since then. So I would really appreciate it if LEGO remade this set. You know, it's a cool little build. I could live without it, but, you know, we don't have to, so that's good. But yeah, so I'd like to see a remake of this, but, you know, I think it's fine if we didn't get one. It's a fairly average set for me. I think that just about sums it up. Okay, so another set that I found that doesn't appear in the movies is the LEGO Star Wars 75081 T16 Skyhopper. There have actually been 2 versions of this. I just chose the most recent one from 2015, simply because it was more convenient. This is another set that we don't actually see the ship in the movies, but we see Luke play with a model of it at the start of A New Hope. So we sort of see it, but again, not really, so I thought we should include it anyway. This is an okay ship. I've never had a special love for it. I don't think it's amazing. I think it looks a bit kind of, I don't really like the way it looks. But, you know, I think it's nice enough. I like the sort of aesthetic of it, the shape. But I think it's out of proportion for me personally, and I'm not over the moon about it. But I think, you know, it's an alright set for what you get. And so yeah, that's another one that doesn't appear in the movies, and, you know, I could live without this one. The 7th set that I found is the LEGO Star Wars 7664 TIE Crawler from 2007. So this is probably the oldest set now so far. This is, you know, it's fairly bleh. It's not bad, it's just not particularly, it's quite bockish, it's quite, you know, it's very of its time. It's got that horrible blue colour with the TIE fighters that I really hate, and you know, it's got that kind of old windscreen. It just looks a bit kind of, yeah, I don't really like it. I think this is supposed to come from the Dark Empire comics, which is obviously why we've never seen it in anything. So this is something that has no point appeared in the movies. There hasn't even been a reference to it. So, you know, I could certainly live without a remake of this. I think it's an alright set, but it's not amazing, to be honest. And I think LEGO would be fine without it, to be perfectly honest. But it's not the worst set I've ever seen. Let's put it that way. This next set is certainly the oldest set that I've managed to find, and this is the TIE D, which came from the LEGO Star Wars 10131 TIE Fighter collection from back in 2004. And so this set was never actually released on its own. It was released as part of a collection, and it's from the Dark Empire comics originally. So you know, the TIE Fighter collection is supposed to be the trench on. We have Vader's TIE Fighter, we have 2 other TIE Fighters, and then we've just got the TIE D just stuck in there, and it just doesn't really fit. It's quite kind of blockish, and you know, it's fairly basic. I mean, obviously, because it was part of the collection, it's going to be slightly more basic because they had to strip down. But yeah, I just don't think it's particularly great, to be honest. It's very old. It's not something that many people particularly know, and it's just not, I think, it was the best thing that they could have put in there. Our penultimate set is the LEGO Star Wars 75039 V-Wing Starfighter. Again, this set that has had 3 iterations, so I just chose the most recent one from back in 2014. The V-Wing is a much loved set. The ship is much loved, you know, a lot. It's one of those sets that everybody knows, but no one's ever actually seen in the movies. It's not in the Clone Wars. It's not in it. It's only in Revenge of the Sith for a fraction of a second when we see the new Imperial Venators, you know, the big grey ones, and we get kind of the swooping shot, and we see them just passing through. This is a set that I'm very grateful LEGO made, and I'm very hopeful LEGO will make a remake of, because I think it is such a cool set. It's so sleek, it's so elegant, it just looks, you know, it's got that kind of feel to it, because we don't really have any sort of interceptors like this from the Clone Wars, and this is, you know, what we have for the clones, for the Republic, as an interceptor in LEGO Star Wars, and I really hope they bring that back, because it is such a cool set. and it's got such potential now with the way Lego builds their sets. You know, they're much less brickish than they used to be, and I think it would look so cool if they brought it back, and I love what they've done with the original. The final Lego Star Wars set that Lego have made that does not appear in the movies or TV shows or video games is the Lego Star Wars 75084 Wookiee gunship from back in 2015. This is based off Star Wars Rebels, though we only see it for, again, a fraction of a second in, I think it's actually the first episode of season 1, where we just see them a swooping shot and it's attached to the Ghost, but really, you know, it's not enough to justify it being in a TV show. This is one of my personal favourite sets. I just love the way it looks. It looks so cool. I love the patterns on it, you know, that kind of woody feel. I love the amount of Wookiees you get with it. I think it's a really cool set, and I love this. I don't usually love those huge stud shooters on the side. I like stud shooters, I don't like the huge ones. But on this, it just works. I know there's just something about the set that really works. And I'm so happy that Lego went ahead with the decision to make it. So I think it's such a cool set. I don't think they're going to remake it. I don't think they need to remake it at the moment. But I think it's a really cool set, and I'm really glad that they went and made it. So guys, were there any of these sets you actually thought were in the movies and weren't? Were there any sets I actually missed out? Chuck them down in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like if you enjoyed this video, and subscribe if you enjoy my content, and turn those post notification bells on. Check out my other Lego videos in the end screen now. May the force be with you, and I'll see you next time on Astromech Productions.